Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Tolu. I'm a Christian dating coach and I specialize in showing single Christian women how to go from single to married in a year. Now, if you don't know, the Wife in Waiting program is open. This is my 12-month group coaching program that shows you exactly how to date your husband in 90 days and get into a committed relationship in 6 months. We're open up until the 9th of November. So if you're watching this before then, you can click the link in my bio and apply. Once I receive your application and you're the right fit, you'll be invited to join the Wife in Waiting program. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Drop it in the chat. I'm always curious to know where everyone is tuning in from. And if you have any questions while I'm sharing this live, feel free to drop it in the chat as well. So this is something that I really work with my clients on, which is talking to men. Now, it's not just about coming into contact with men, which we show you how to do inside the Wife in Waiting program. It's also about learning to have conversations with men where they are inspired to pursue you. And by pursue you, I mean call you, text you, want to take you on a date, follow up after the date, want to take you on a second date, interested in learning about your life, what exactly you do in your routine, and want to get in a relationship with you because they are serious about committing to you for marriage. That's what I mean by pursuit. Pursuit isn't a guy that just gets your number and never calls, or gets your number and calls every couple of days, weeks, months, or even years. Pursuit isn't a guy that comes into your life with no direction and no focus. Pursuit is a very clear approach. Like, you can tell by experiencing that relationship with that man that he is intentionally getting to know you because he's serious about commitment. And these are the kinds of connections that we help our clients achieve inside Wife in Waiting. Now, specifically speaking about talking to men, if you don't know how to talk to men, and by talking I mean you literally don't know how to have conversations with men, you don't know how to tell men what you want, you don't know how to flirt with men, you don't know how to listen to what men are telling you, or how to discern whether a man is serious or not, you are not going to be in a position to get into a healthy relationship and get into a committed relationship. And this is part of the reason why inside Wife in Waiting, I like to review the chats that my clients are having with men. Like, I literally like to review, okay, what men are you talking to? What kind of conversations are you having? Why did you say A, B, and C? Or why didn't you say this? Or why do you think he said that? Because I really want to help my clients understand how men think and how to be able to classify the kind of men they're connecting to. Because when you're talking to your husband, the conversations are going to be clear, focus, and have a very consistent cadence. So it wouldn't be a situation or a scenario where you dated your ex, he disappeared, came back into your life, asked for forgiveness, and is now telling you he's serious about you, even though he wasn't serious the last 6 months, 6 years, and so on and so forth. That isn't your husband. So this is why, knowing how to talk to men is very important, because it's a very key part of the process of being able to be visible to your husband, being able to connect to him, and for him to receive the confirmation that you're his wife, and for him to have the confidence to pursue. Because in talking to men, you inspire them to, know that you're interested, know that you're also, intentional about wanting to build an intimate connection, and you're signaling for them that it's safe to pursue. So the skill of talking is very important. That's why I'm breaking it down to this point, because in the course of my program, I'm literally just working with my clients, both in Wife in Waiting, and one-on-one. This is a major part of the process of getting them into position to actually get into a committed relationship. And what does talking involve? Talking with a guy isn't just saying hi, hello, and responding to questions. It's about being able to engage, interact, share your perspective, being able to be playful with your comments, show interest through light conversations, being able to signal the fact that you find him attractive because, you are focused on the kinds of questions he's asking. You're also sharing details about your life in a very intentional, focused way. So, and this is what I've seen a lot of women struggle with, especially, I work with Christian women in dating to marry. And I can tell you for a fact, sometimes, pardon me, you think that you are being feminine, but you're just being friendly. And I'm saying this confidently because this is a key area that I work with my clients on, to be able to increase the number of men that they are having quality connections with. Sometimes, you may say to me, oh, Tolu, men ghost on me, men don't take me seriously. And I guarantee there's something wrong with your conversations. More likely than not, your conversations are boring, flat, uninteresting, and do not show any intention on your end. And it is making it difficult for a man to be able to want to keep talking to you, or to be able to find you interesting enough to continue a conversation. And usually if you're struggling with talking to men, you also probably struggle with making eye contact, maintaining eye contact. You're probably not very socially comfortable. You may find that, in new environments or in social events, you don't interact, because sometimes I hear things like, oh, I went to this event, I always go to events, I always go out. That's not the issue. The issue is when you're in those spaces, you don't know how to interact. You don't know how to fit into the room. You don't know how to flow through conversations with new people, or maybe contacts that you've previously made. You don't know how to make people feel comfortable. So talking is a good way to practice your social skills as well. That loosens you up energetically. And what I mean by that is, it's like you're carrying a scent. You want to be able to carry a scent that invites intentional interaction. But if you're carrying a sense that you are bland, boring, and unnoticeable, do not be surprised if you go to social events or you're struggling to make connections with men that are tangible online. Do not be surprised if your DMs get stale. Maybe a guy messages you on Instagram or TikTok or wherever, and he doesn't follow up, probably because you are not navigating the conversations properly. And sometimes you're just being friendly. So that's why inside the Wife in Waiting program, I like to work with my clients on being feminine in a way that signals interest and inspires men to pursue, and also, allows you to pay attention to how that man is engaging with you, interacting with you, to know when he's serious or not. Because sometimes, and the key point here is, sometimes you think that man is not interested, he's not intentional, he doesn't want to get to know you, when the problem is you are actually signaling to him that you are not interested based on the way in which you're having conversations with him. So that's why inside Wife in Waiting, I literally restructure the way my clients are talking to men. Because once you come in contact with men, that's just the first step. Okay, your husband isn't going to magically navigate all conversations for you. He's a man, he's a human being. He's also going to need some sort of social interaction to be able to find you interesting and engaging enough to even think about the prospect of you being somebody he wants to get to know. So if all your conversations are always laced with hi, fine, thank you, okay, nice to meet you, I'm going to work now, I'm coming back to home, that's nothing. That's not going to get you anywhere. You have to learn the art of being able to have conversations with men in a way that is confidently showing your personality, including them in your day in a way where they get some sort of insight or visual as to how you prioritize certain things in your life, just based on the flow of events and flow of activities that you have going on through the day. I don't care if you're just sitting at home doing nothing, or all you do is pick your kids from school or drop your kids at school and attend PTA meetings, or you just relocated to a new city, or you just started a new job. You need to have conversations that are lively, engaging, and show that your life is full. So if you are not able to do that, you will struggle to meet your husband, because you're not going to be able to navigate conversations in a very productive way. And it's always interesting to me because in Christian spaces, this isn't spoken about enough. The issue isn't that there are not enough men, or that there are only men that are married, that are serious, and all the good men are gone. No, the issue is you just don't know how to talk to men, or you are not visible to men in the right way, or you don't know how to communicate in a way that signals to a man that you're genuinely interested. So it's going to be much harder for you to connect with men that you actually find attractive, and you will find that you have a limited pool of options as a result. So that's why, inside Wife in Waiting, regardless of where my clients are based, pardon me, they are meeting men. So doesn't matter if you're in Nigeria or you're in Canada or you're in the UK, US, there isn't some magical dating app or some magical place that all the single Christian men are. If you literally just learn to be able to have healthy conversations with men, have conversations that show your personality, are able to communicate with men in a way that is intentional and clear and shows the fact that you're genuinely interested, you will literally increase just by that alone the options of you meeting the kind of man that you want to settle down with. Because think about it, if you meet a guy that you find attractive and you're interested in and you don't even know how to have conversations, that thing is not going to go anywhere. So that's why, with my clients, the major area that I like to work on, because inside the program you will be meeting men. Meeting men isn't a problem. You can meet men anywhere. It's the major area that we need to refocus and reshape is how you're able to converse with men and have conversations that are showing that, you are looking for a serious relationship. You are not available for nonsense. And at the same time, you're a woman that is looking for a connection that you can grow with. And this is something that you have to learn as you get older as well. Because, when you're in your 30s, 40s, social situations become less of a priority and more of an option. So you actively have to place yourself in these settings, whether it's through online dating or through intentionally making room on your calendar to have a social life, or through using and leveraging your professional networking, events to your advantage. And part of what we do in the Wife in Waiting program is show you how to use your schedule as it stands currently to be able to first meet men and secondly have conversations that are actually productive and are progressive. So the conversations that you actually learn something about the men that you're talking to, and you can actually see it's going in a clear direction. That is that, he's genuinely showing you interest, asking for your number, calling you, texting you, trying to take you on that date, and getting to know you. But if you find that you are meeting men and the conversations are moving forward, you are struggling with communication, talking is a problem. Okay. And let me even and tap the hearts if this is helpful to you. If you have any questions for me, drop it in the question box, but let me know if you have this problem as well. Actually, I'm curious. Just drop talk in the comments if this is something you struggle with, because inside Wife in Waiting we literally have what I say calls dedicated for our clients, our sisters as we call ourselves, to be able to understand how do you have conversations with men that you are eager to talk to but don't know how to position yourself. How do you be the one to initiate conversations with a guy? How do you take him from simply showing friendly intentions to actually flirting, to actually seeing that you're somebody he wants to date seriously? And I'll tell you a story. One of my clients, for instance, she was interacting with a guy and the conversation was mostly friendly, but she thought it was flirtatious. And then I looked through the conversation. Like I say, I look through your chats with men. I like to see what exactly it is that you are talking to men about. So anytime a client comes to me and say, "Oh, Tolu, I don't know, usually at the beginning of my programs, because if you're new, I like to sit down with you. We go through your dating process together. I look at, the conversations you've had in the past and so on and so forth. And then I look at those chats. I'm like, well, with this particular client, I was like, well, you were just being friendly. You think you're flirting, but you're not flirting. And then we switched that up for her. And would you know, like within a week, that conversation had moved out of the DMs into her WhatsApp and had progressed to the point where they were on calls and he was taking her on dates. Okay. And all that changed was the way she was talking to him. Right? It's important to understand that. So I share that example to let you know how important it is to know how to talk to men. And this is why, like, literally with all my clients, I keep singing it because it's so important and I want you to understand it. With all my clients, I literally like to look at, okay, what did you say? When did you say? What do we need to adjust here to make sure moving? And it's not like, it's a one-time thing. And it's never the fault of the guy exclusively. I want to be clear on that. It's not because he's not interested. It's not because, he's trying to waste your time. It is also because you don't know how to talk to men. You don't know how to have engaging conversations. You struggle with understanding how to be able to move conversations forward in a way that actually shows your personality. Because I know you're not boring. I know you have a life, but it's not coming across in chat. Even me, that if I read that chat, if I read your chat, for example, even me, I will be bored, to be very honest, right? So like, that's why inside Wife in Waiting, we literally teach you the skill of showing your femininity in a way that highlights the fact that you are a woman that is, diverse. You have multiple sides to you. If you're somebody that enjoys movies, it should be coming across in your conversations. If you love books, or if you're a particular fan of a particular brand or whatever, it should be coming across in your conversations. And what I see with Christian women is, how to talk to men about spiritual things. Okay, I've seen that as well. If they say, okay, talk to a guy about your faith, you're more than happy. A lot of you know how to talk to men about spiritual things. But if I say, talk to him about your day, or talk to him about something exciting that has happened in the last week that is outside church, you struggle. And that right there is the problem. So that's why inside, the program, one of the key strategies that we show our clients is being able to have conversations with men in a way that highlights your personality, highlights your femininity, makes you attractive because you're an attractive woman, but you need to know how to use that to your advantage when you are talking to guys. It's not just about having guys come to you and see you. You have to be able to know how to translate those actual contacts into healthy connections, because that is what needs to happen for that man to desire to commit to you. Okay, so that's how, this is a skill that my clients learn that shows them how to connect to their husbands, right? Let me know if this is if a light bulb is going off for you by tapping the heart and just saying in the chat like what I've said that really resonated with you. But yeah, this is something that I work with you on inside the Wife in Waiting program. Literally, even today, I was reviewing my sister's chats with men that they're talking to. Because inside Wife in Waiting, you have access to a private community, and I provide coaching on weekdays. So literally every day I'm in there talking to my sisters, as we call ourselves sisters. These are my clients, but they're also my sisters, looking at their conversations with men, helping them to adjust the way they approach conversations. And I'm not just telling you what to say, I'm interested in the way you're thinking about it. So I'll literally ask, a client like, okay, why did you say this? Or what do you think could have been better here? Or why do you think he responded this way? Okay, now, once you've told me, then I give you what exactly it is you need to adjust, so that that way you are taking in the information, and it's very important to me that my clients learn the skill permanently. So when you learn how to talk to men properly, you will also find that translate into how you make friends, how you're able to strike up conversations in social situations, how you use it in networking. Maybe you have a business, you want to use it to, network with new clients or partners. It's a skill. You need to know how to be able to talk and how to be able to use, conversation to build connections. It's not just about relationships, but it will translate. It's not just rather about intimate relationships, but it will translate into business relationships, friendships, and so on and so forth, right? Just drop a yes if this was helpful in the chat, and let me know if you have any questions. Drop it in the question box, or drop it in the chat if you're watching this live. Okay. Yes, this is definitely about learning to have conversations with the opposite sex. So here's something. Sometimes you may find that, I'm very calm, I'm very conversational when I'm talking to women, but I'm not the same when I'm talking to men. I just freeze up, or I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. That right there is because there's a fear, or there's some sort of anxiety attached to men that has nothing to do with that social skill. So you may be really good at talking to your friends, whether male or female, or just women in general. But when it comes to talking to men, especially when we're talking about men you find attractive, because those are the only category of men I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a guy you're not interested in, or you're not attracted to him, or a married man. I'm not talking about men that are not available. I'm talking about the men that are available because you find them attractive, you're interested, and they're single and they share your values. If you struggle to navigate those kinds of conversations, then there's some sort of anxiety or fear around there, or some sort of insecurity that you need to be able to explore, so that your actual social skills will shine instead of being dimmed or, being difficult to show because, you're not socially comfortable around men you find attractive. But yeah, those are the categories of men I'm talking to. Thank you for mentioning that in the chat. Okay. Right. So I see, yes, I have this problem, but I tell myself it's because they are men I'm not interested in. If I were interested in them, the conversations will usually be different. Well, firstly, you shouldn't even be talking to men you're not interested in. That's your problem right there. Because the conversations that you are having with men you're not interested in are irrelevant. It's literally just a waste of time. So one of the first things I like to say with my clients, in fact, I was talking to a client today about this, she had shared a conversation for me to review. And based on what, the flow I saw, I suspected she wasn't interested. She's a new client. She just started working with me. Literally just within the first few days, right? And I was like, okay, are you interested in this guy? And she's like, no. I'm like, okay, so why are we talking to him? Right? So conversations with men that you're not interested in are irrelevant. What's the point? Why is that conversation even happening? It's like saying, you are going to a hospital, but there's no reason why you are there. You don't have a doctor's appointment. There's nobody you're coming to see. You're not unwell. You just decided to go to the hospital. Why? It serves no purpose, right? Or choose any example. It's just like doing something with no reason. So there's no reason why you should be talking to men you're not interested in. The only data that will be useful is when we're talking about men you're interested in. Okay? And that is why, like I said previously, like prior to this question, when I was referring to the other comment, I said that it's important to focus only on conversations with men you are attracted to. Everything else is irrelevant. Men that you're attracted to, men that are available, men that are available and signals to your brain that they're available, because if you don't feel safe in those conversations for whatever reason, maybe you're insecure, maybe there's some fear, there's some anxiety, there's some lack of practice there, you are going to need to work on that to actually be able to talk to your husband. And I'm not even talking about connecting with him or getting into a relationship. I'm talking about before all of that. You need to be able to literally talk to him, have conversations, show your personality, show that you have perspective. That is something you're going to need to be able to do before you even get to the point of, we're going on dates, we're in a relationship. It's important to realize that, and that is something that I like to emphasize with my clients, that listen, you're not just going to wake up married. You are going to wake up and have to actually get to know the guy before you enter a relationship, before he even gets the idea to take you on a date. And that skill is necessary within the first few days of interaction. If not, that man will lose interest. Why? Because he's a human being. You imagine talking to somebody and they're giving you basic responses and they're barely interacting. You will definitely lose interest. It's the same from a male perspective. If you're not being able to show your personality, there's no flavor to your conversation, there's no color, don't expect it to go anywhere. Okay? Do we have any other questions? I'm saying, how do you draw the line between being conversational and seeming too interested or near desperate? So I've seen that this fear of desperation is the reason why a lot of women are single. So let me be clear about what desperation looks like. Desperation looks like you being the one chasing the guy for attention, time, doing all the calls, the texting. You're basically the one chasing the man. That's what desperation looks like. When you are positioned, it is about the way you present yourself and the way you create opportunities for men to approach you. It's a completely different thing we're talking about, right? So if I was to phrase that in the form of a conversation, specifically as pertains to this question, if you are desperate, it would mean that you're the one that is constantly initiating conversations. So every single time you guys talk, you are the one that is initiating it. You are the one that is doing the reaching out. You are the one that is asking for the call. You are the one that is calling him. You are the one that is trying to figure out how he's doing. And like I said, you are the one chasing the man. That's how it will translate in conversation. But if you are positioned, the difference is you are simply, firstly, you may initiate a conversation, but you're not the one that is going to be continuing that process. You may meet a guy, let's call him Alan. Maybe you meet Alan at a networking event and you just walk up to him and you say, oh, hey, do you know one of the speakers? Like, that's just an example. Or you mention to him like, oh, what company are you from? And you have a conversation. You let Alan continue the conversation. You see if Alan also asks you questions. You see if Alan is interested in getting to know more about your business. But here's the key. You also need to interact with Alan. It can't just be you initiated the conversation and then you stop talking. Nothing is going to happen there. You initiate a conversation and you show interest through interacting with him, with Alan. Okay, Alan is the example we're using. That way, you are being engaging without looking desperate. You are literally just talking to Alan. But if you don't even know how to do that, do not be surprised if Alan doesn't ask for your number, he doesn't ask for your LinkedIn, he just wanders off. But if you are doing that, Alan, for a number of reasons, maybe he likes your confidence, or he just simply enjoys the work you do, or it could be he finds you attractive and he likes the fact you're engaging, or it could be all of the above, will now want to know more about you and ask for your socials, your LinkedIn, and so on and so forth. Do you see how that's different? So that's not you being desperate in that situation. That's you positioning yourself to connect with Alan. It's different from if, Alan got your number or your social and you're the one constantly chasing up after him. Then it's desperate. So the line between being conversational in terms of how it falls into being interested is about creating opportunities for that man to know that you are intentionally looking to get to know him, right? You're not going to be the one initiating the calls, the texts. You're not going to be the one trying to get his attention all the time. All you did was open the door, as I like to call it. In fact, all you are doing is just inviting him to the fact that, hey, I'm interested in getting to know you. Let's talk, and so on and so forth. That's it. But if you find yourself being the one sending messages, calls, texts, you're always following up. He calls you today, to see you tomorrow, and you are jumping up and you're available, you're going to come across as desperate. So it's more about, your actions than anything else. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know if this makes sense to you guys by dropping yes in the chat. And if you have any questions for me, drop it in the chat as well and you're watching this live. But this is, the work that I do with my clients in the program of Wife in Waiting that helps them to be able to understand what it should actually look like to have healthy conversations with men and to be able to have conversations that will make you visible to your husband. And when I say visible to your husband, I'm not talking about that man just seeing you. I'm talking about him noticing you. He's noticing that, oh, Kate is funny. Kate does business with, medical professionals. Maybe that's your business background. Or Kate, has attended this event a couple of times. This is Kate's perspective on A, B, and C. You're coming across as a human being. So that's what I mean by being noticeable. And that is and that is through being able to actually engage with men and talk to men, and show your personality. And that will naturally progress to the point where he would want to know more about you. The conversations will be flowing, will be engaging and interactive. And then it will naturally progress to the point of actually going on dates and getting into a relationship. That's how it happens. You need to know how to talk to men to meet your husband. It's a non-negotiable for you to be able to actually move from just meeting men, getting ghosted, to getting into a healthy relationship. And that's the work that I do with you inside the Wife in Waiting program. And if you're not familiar, this is my 12-month group coaching program that shows Christian single women how to date your husband in 90 days and get into a committed relationship in 6 months. And these are one of the skills that gets my clients to that point. So inside the program, I'll be coaching you in our private community on talking to men properly, because you'll be meeting men, and I'll show you how to leverage your routine to come in contact with men and have conversations that are actually going to lead to dates you're excited about, so that you can get into the right relationship in 6 months. Now, if you're interested in the program as a Christian single woman, you just click the link in my bio to apply, bio and first tab, to apply. And once I receive your application, I will reach out to you within 24 hours if you're the right fit, and we'll have a conversation and you'll be invited to join. Now, if you have any questions about Wife in Waiting, feel free to send me a DM or email me at tolu@tolufalode.com. Also, note guys, we close the doors to Wife in Waiting on the 9th of November. Okay, I'm gonna go now, and make sure to share this with your friends. If you have any questions about the program, send me a DM or an email. Talk soon.